This one's kind of fun for me. Look, I believe this strongly. An open mind keeps us fresh, and look, it's better for the world. God, I thought when I reached this age, I'd be done making bad mistakes. And he looked at me with some surprise. He said, Dad, you're still in the game. The world is changing. Of course, you're going to make mistakes. I'm so grateful to him for pointing that out to me. I'm your host, Dave Tabor. Stubbornly Young is for people in their 50s and 60s and beyond who are interesting, have valuable perspectives, and are fully engaged in the world. We want to maintain the status we've earned and continue to be seen as relevant to the younger people who follow in our wake. Welcome to the Stubbornly Young Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Dave Tabor. I kicked off Episode 1 with a special guest, Mark Schaefer, best-selling author and international speaker. We unpacked the whole notion of Stubbornly Young. For this episode, it's just me bringing you my 9 rules for being stubbornly young. These are my key principles, sort of guardrails that define my outlook. This is a list only, and in subsequent posts, I'm going to write about each at length, explore those topics with guests, and we'll dig in a lot further. So please share your rules with me, your thoughts, and I'll add and remove and modify mine based on feedback. So let's jump right in. Rule number 1 is embrace the new world. And this rule was originally called embrace technology. I was convinced to change it because Cheryl pointed out that one doesn't have to love technology, that is tech devices. So I changed technology to the new world. And technology and innovation drives almost all change. So use some new tech hardware or software. I mean, most people do, but you really have to, and lean into learning about technological changes in the world. That's a must. And I'm going to expand on this, including talking about my search to learn about nuclear fusion on a full-on podcast or a blog post about Rule 1. Rule 2, consume thought-provoking content. My preferred sources are Audible and podcasts. I'd love to look for entertaining titles that teach and stimulate me to think outside my box. These can be business books, or sometimes I like to read fiction that stimulates ideas that help me stay stubbornly young. One, for example, is a book called Ready Player One. A lot of it takes place in what we now call the metaverse. I don't think it was named that when the book was written, but even though it was fiction, reading it has given me a lot of insights about where the metaverse is going, and it's encouraged conversations that I've had with others about the metaverse. Rule 3, shifting gears, enjoy the outdoors and physical activity. Hey, what's better to keep the mind fresh and bright than being active, especially outside? My preferred outdoor activities are where I can enjoy the beauty of nature while getting exercise. My favorite is backcountry snowshoeing in the summer, some stand-up paddleboarding and hiking. When I'm out, I tend to step away from the others I'm with for a few minutes and capture some moments of solitary thought that really helps sort of brighten my mind, helps me relax, and makes the day really complete for me. Rule number 4, don't talk about medical stuff. Now, this is controversial to those with whom I've shared it, and I look forward to explaining it in detail. I mean, really, some people are bewildered. Some think it's rude when I interrupt a conversation. I say, I just don't want to talk about medical stuff. Now, look, the short version is this. I have a really good reason. The short version just won't, look, it's going to offend people. So I'm not going to get into this now. I'm going to get into this in a longer, more involved, separate post. Rule number 5, be open to the merit of both sides of an issue. This one's kind of fun for me. Look, I believe this strongly. An open mind keeps us fresh, and look, it's better for the world. Our world has become so divisive, and that makes us feel negative towards others who don't share our perspective. Trying hard to at least understand, hey, even maybe appreciate things that we don't agree with in others. That keeps our mind positive and fresh, and I think really it takes some discipline, especially with all of the media that we consume that tends to want to polarize us. Trying to see both sides of an issue is really important to me. And that leads me to the next rule, which is 6, to be upbeat, keep a sense of humor, and don't complain. This is the hardest for me. I'm so envious of people for whom being upbeat seems to come naturally. But when I think of those to whom I'm most attracted, I think most of us are most attracted, particularly those in the stubbornly young age group, they are all positive people. Really positive people. They have a smile and it's sincere. Sometimes when I'm frustrated, I think of my friend Tyler because he's so upbeat. I think, wow, he'd probably just laugh this off. All right, rule number 7, learn something new. Learning new things makes me feel alive and creative. I wrote a post about experimenting with artificial intelligence generated art. I still do that. It's super fun for me. I also continued to return to Spanish language lessons on Audible. Boy, it's really going slow because I'm not focused frequently enough. But when I can say something to a native Spanish speaker, even if it's like super basic, I feel more alive. I feel charged. It's fun. And continuing on, so number 7 was learning something new. Rule number 8 is trying something new. Trying something new gives me a hit of energetic positivity. I'm trying to relieve stress right now by getting started on a paint by number project. I haven't done that since I was a little kid. And anyway, while it feels rudimentary, it also feels fresh. I'm about 1% done and it's taken me a month. Really, it's a process, but it has a sense of contentedness and it makes me happy. So trying something new is rule number 8. Except that I'll still make mistakes. This is rule number 9. And staying in the game means continuing to be a flawed work in process. I learned this actually from my son, Matt. I was complaining. I think I was probably in my mid-50s and I was just complaining with deep angst because I had just made a bad mistake. And I'm like, God, I thought when I reached this age, I'd be done making bad mistakes. And he looked at me with some surprise. He said, Dad, you're still in the game. The world is changing. Of course, you're going to make mistakes. I'm so grateful to him for pointing that out to me. So as of today, these are my 9 rules for being stubbornly young, and they're already changing. I've already changed them. I'm sure when you provide me with feedback, they'll change some more. So please comment on the Stubbornly Young Facebook page or on the Stubbornly Young website or email me at dave@stubbornlyyoung.com. I'm Dave Tabor. My friends, glad you could join me. Please rate Stubbornly Young in your podcast app. Please encourage your friends to listen. The journey of staying relevant for ourselves and to those we care about is an exciting one. Visit stubbornlyyoung.com to read my blog, subscribe, and send me feedback and ideas to make us all better at this. Thanks for listening. Onward.